Hi guys, Russ here from Wilson Land and Cattle Company. Canadian thistles and how can we control it? We control our Canadian thistles through grazing. And we do a high stock density grazing. I'm going to show you how to do that. We can control them very effectively. Before we get started, please subscribe, like, comment, share with a friend, hit that notification bell to get weekly videos from us. And check out our merch store. I'll put a link in the description below. We're going to be doing a grazing time lapse on this video, so if you would watch to the end, check that time lapse out. It's an awesome video, going to be an awesome video. But we have a patch of Canadian thistles here, and what had happened is we had a wet spell and I tramped it up a little bit, and we opened the canopy up. Damn bug. We opened the canopy up, and with Canadian thistles, as soon as you can get sunlight to the soil surface, it's going to germinate. And we have the Canadian thistle seed in our seed bank. So how do we do it? Okay, how we set this up, and I'm going to show you a spot, and I have a video of a couple years ago that we just kind of happened onto this where we've actually been able to control the Canadian thistles. You can see there's the yellow insulators on that post there, and then the field goes back to the pine trees here, and we just grazed it normally across. And then when we come to where we had this patch of Canadian thistles, we put a divider down right at the edge of the Canadian thistles, and then we grazed 3 sections. That one up there was yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, and then we moved them in here this morning. And the way we control these Canadian thistles is put a high stock density on them for a very short period of time. And the root systems in these Canadian thistles are huge. Canadian thistles are very hard to control with herbicides or clipping. But if we can get the impact onto the soil with the hooves of the animal, we're not going to completely kill these. There's just no way we're going to be able to do that. If we can put the impact, that disturbs the root systems enough to set it back, to allow the other plants to come up through and shade them to where they are not a problem anymore in the field. And if you're having a problem in your fields with Canadian thistles, Now this is just one very small patch compared to a lot of farms. A lot of farms, the whole fields are Canadian thistle, and those come from poor grazing management such as long season grazing, heavy soil impacts from the livestock. This is the case here because we grazed it whenever it was wet. One of the ways of controlling Canadian thistles is better management practices on your farm. This here was an accident for me. We grazed this when it was super wet out. We exposed the soil surface and it allowed the Canadian thistles to germinate, because it's most generally on almost all farms there's Canadian thistle seed in your soil bank, and if it has an opportunity to germinate, it's going to. There's a few reasons that we get Canadian thistles in our pasture field. We get selective grazing from whenever we put cattle or your livestock on a continuous grazing system, or say a 3 or 4 day rotation. They're going to become more selective and they won't eat these plants. That you see this old girl here, she's going through and she's having a good old time with them buds. If we have like a fixed watering point or a gate or some place that the livestock like to hang out in the pasture, a lot of the time outbreaks of Canadian thistles. And the section, or from a couple years ago, that was from them hanging out by a gate. I weaned the calves and the cows stood by the gate, and they basically killed the grass next to the gate and allowed the seeds to germinate. They have a taproot that goes down about 4 feet, and then it goes into a huge fibrous root system, which is actually pretty good for their soil, because it's down there and it's mining nutrients and bringing those nutrients to the top for other plants. But in a lot of systems, this won't work, because those girls, this girl here's eating away at them. And it's about 7 o'clock in the morning here. We'll move the cows out of here probably around like 12 o'clock this afternoon, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they'll have these all eaten. We'll come back, we'll take a look at it and see what they did eat. Canadian thistle spreads by rhizomes. That way, you know, this whole patch of Canadian thistles could have come from one plant. So that one plant comes up and then it shoots rhizomes out, and it can spread up to 30 feet a year. So, you know, this patch is 50, 60 feet around. This patch could have been here for a couple years, but there's a lot of grass underneath, and I'm pretty happy about that. So we're gonna be able to get this killed, I think, with just one graze. And if we don't, we'll come back in again next year and do the same thing. Or actually this fall, we'll probably come in and graze it again. See, the calves are even eating it. That calf is just a little over a month old, and he's eating Canadian thistles already. Okay guys, let's slip on over there and take a look at where we grazed earlier, or grazed a couple years ago, and was able to get the Canadian thistles under control. And actually that patch over there where it was, it could have mined the nutrients out, because the grass over there is so thick and so heavy. Okay guys, this here's the area that had a patch of Canadian thistles. It looked like the patch that the cows is in now. And this was, I believe, 2 years ago. It might have been 3 years ago. Now these stems that are sticking up, that's not Canadian thistles, that's curly dock. So, you know, we were able, just from one graze in one season, we were able to get rid of the Canadian thistles. And you can see there is no Canadian thistles growing here at all. And I'm not too worried about the dock. It'll go away too. It's not a, you know, the cows are eating it. Like I said, we've already grazed this. We grazed this approximately 4 or 5 days ago. The Canadian thistle's all gone. I was going to dig some up for you and show you what the root system looks on a Canadian thistle. It's very thick and fibrous. Let's Scout. Huh? You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Saying hello to everybody this morning. You saying hello to everybody this morning? That's a good boy. I miss Paige. I miss Paige. That's a good girl. Okay guys, we'll come back this afternoon and see what that looks like. For the most part, that Canadian thistle should be pretty well all gone, and hopefully if we did it right, next year that patch of Canadian thistle will be gone just like this section here. Hey guys, it's afternoon time here. About 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Cows moved in here about 7 o'clock this morning. And this is what we got left behind for the Canadian thistle. We have good cover. We got lots of cow poop. It's been tramped really well. This is what we're looking for to get these Canadian thistles under control. Cows ate everything on the tops, stripped all the leaves. Pretty happy about that. They would have consumed more of the plant if they would have been an earlier stage of growth, but it's starting to go the other way, I guess you could say. But I think in a year we can come back here and do another video, and you'll see how well a job this does for controlling Canadian thistles. I'm gonna throw the time-lapse videos up now. Hopefully you enjoy them. Okay guys, that's it for today. Please subscribe, like, comment, share with a friend. Check out our new merchandise store. I have a link in the description below. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.